Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to your 1-hour practice to increase your strength and flexibility. Let's get started on our mat. So we're going to start by bringing our feet together. And we're going to have a really wide triangle shape with our legs, and we're going to start leaning forward. So start to bring your belly forward towards your legs, and then you can slowly drop your weight down. Now you might want to bring your elbows down. Just make sure that you're not rounding too much in your back, that you're bringing your body forward. We're just starting out. And then take some deep breaths in and out. Maybe a really long inhalation and then a short exhalation. That's going to help bring our energy levels up using our breath. So try that. Deep breath in, extending on our inhale, and then quick exhale. Good. That kind of breath work will help us be more energized at the beginning of this practice. Good. And then bringing your arms all the way up for a stretch. And then we're going to bring our knees together, and we're going to slowly bring our legs down to the mat, straight in our seated forward fold. Reach up. And then we're just going to touch our toes. And this is just to begin. So if you're touching your knees or your calves, wherever you can reach, just hold for a couple seconds here. Maybe bend your knees as well if it's a little much. Just focus on bringing your lower abdomen towards your legs. Take a deep breath in and out. It's when we can hold these poses a little bit longer, where we tell our body that it's okay to release, it's okay to let go, increase that flexibility. Good. Let's bring our hands all the way up again for a stretch, and then we're going to lower them behind us. So bring your fingertips towards the top of the mat, and we're going to lift ourselves up into a reverse plank. So we're lifting our hips all the way up. You can point your toes if you want to, and we're going to lift. We're going to open up the chest. So pushing your hands into the mat, lifting your hips high, looking up at the ceiling. And then lower your hips all the way down. Good, let's do that one more time. So lifting up, hold. Open up the shoulders, lifting your hips high. Good, and then lower down. Flex your feet, lift your arms up, and then float down into your forward fold again for a little quick hold. Take a breath here. Good. Let's bring our feet and knees together again, and we're bringing our ankles in a little bit closer towards our body this time. We're just going to flutter our knees. We're going to bring our body forward. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're opening up these hips a little bit more. Good. And then cross your legs and bring yourself forward into a nice tabletop position. Let's warm up the back with some cat-cows, dropping the belly, and then curving the spine, chin in, separating the shoulder blades, and then drop the belly again, and then lift the belly up. Good. And then sit back into your wide-legged child's pose. So bringing the knees to the outer edge of your mat, get your toes to touch at the back, reaching your arms forward, maybe dropping your forehead to the mat. Good. Come back up into your tabletop position and bring your hands a little bit closer to the top of the mat as we drop down into our puppy pose. So this time is a little bit more of an opener in the chest and in the shoulders. Maybe your chin is resting on the mat this time. And if you want to try bending your elbows and bringing your hands to prayer behind your head, it's another nice sensation. Just let your hips be high, but still focus on keeping your belly up. You don't want to drop too much down. Good. And then release your hands down, walk yourself back up into your tabletop position, and then flip your toes and come up to your first downward facing dog. So let's take 3 long breaths here. Feel free to create movement if you want to, bending one knee into the mat and the other, or you could just hold. If you want to focus on your posture, just lifting your hips up to the sky, letting your heels be heavy, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, maybe a micro bend in the elbows. I know, a lot going on, a lot to think about. And then take a deep breath here and let it go. Good. And now we are going to walk our hands towards our feet at the back of the mat. So we're walking our hands. We have our feet about hip width apart. And then we're going to drop ourselves down, grab onto our elbows for ragdoll. So just a little side to side. Now you can bend one knee and the other as you sway. Make this feel good on the hips. Give your head a little shake. Yes and no. Throughout this practice, just don't forget to breathe. When we're pausing in any pose and staying still and holding, just go back to your breath. Good. Dropping your hands down onto your mat. Now we're going to be on our toes for this. So come crouch down, place your knees down onto your mat, and sit up nice and tall for a side stretch. So bringing both arms all the way up, keeping your core in tight, dropping your left arm down, reaching over to the side. So your right arm is over your head, reaching over. Your hips are on your ankles for a nice little stretch on your feet. And then come up to center and over to the other side. Good. Back to center. We're going to lift up onto our knees, release your toes down, take your hands and put them right behind your lower back, pushing your hips forward into your camel or partial camel. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can flip your toes or come up on your toes and then reach back onto one ankle and the other, reaching back with the opposite arm. So right arm is lifted, left arm is on your left ankle, and switch. And switch. And if you want to try both hands, you could take both hands, put them, grab onto your ankles, push your hips forward, open up your chest, drop your head back, only if this feels good. And then come up. Come up into your tabletop position. Take a second here, neutralize the spine by doing a couple more cat-cows. So go right into your cat. And then drop the belly for your cow. Back into your cat. And then spine into neutral. Let's start warming up our glutes a little bit by lifting and extending our left leg out. Toes are pointed down, feet is flexed. Just take a deep breath here. Good. Lift, lift, lift. And then we're going to bend the left knee, and we're going to do little baby pulses as we kick that foot towards the ceiling. So we're just starting to warm up our glutes. I'm going to do 20 baby pulses. Just imagine that you're kicking the ceiling with your foot, still keeping your belly in strong. Try not to let your belly drop. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to cross the knee over the left knee, and then we're going to lift it up, and we're going to bring it down. We're going to lift it up. We're crossing it over the opposite leg, up and down. Now we're just doing this trying to focus on keeping our upper body straight and steady. Lift, cross, lift, lower, lift, cross, lift, lower, one more time, lift, cross, lift, lower. Nice, come down into your child's pose for a little quick recovery. Take a breath here. Nice, other side. Come back up into your tabletop position, extending your left leg out, toes pointed in, left leg is straight, foot is flexed, belly in. Nice, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then bend the left knee. You want a 90-degree angle, and then just start kicking your flat foot to the ceiling. 20 baby pulses, keeping your belly in tight. Focus on transferring your weight equally throughout your hands in your one knee. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Crossing the left knee behind your right leg and up. And then bring it down beside. We're just hovering it. And then lift, cross, up, down. Lift, cross, up, down. Lift, cross, up, down. One more. Lift, cross, up, down. Good. Come back into that recovery child's pose, reaching your arms forward. Take a deep breath in, and then lift yourself all the way up. Seated position. Take a second to pause. Hands to heart center. Beautiful, good. Bring your hands down, flip your toes, downward facing dog. Take one breath here. Good, lift the heels, bend the knees, and then jump to the top of the mat. Couple halfway lifts where we're bringing the palms all the way up onto our shins. We're keeping our shoulders back, belly is flat. And then lower down, forward fold. And again, halfway lift. Lower down, forward fold. Now stepping our feet a little bit closer to the top of the mat if we're not already there. We're gonna step back into our low lunge. So step back your right foot, drop your knee down, and come up into your low lunge position, a nice hip stretch. You could release the back toe, maybe placing both hands just below your left knee, reaching up. It's a nice deep stretch. If you do have blocks and you want to use them, you can. I just brought them here to show everybody how they are useful no matter where you are in your practice. Good, take a deep breath in. Keep smiling. And then dropping your hands down to the mat. Have your right foot find the ground and lift up. And then drop the back heel and then come up into your warrior two. Bending the left knee, warrior two. And then drop the back hand, flip the front palm, peaceful warrior, reach back. Bend the front knee. Good, and then cartwheel the arms into your runner's lunge. So now our hips are square. We have this nice 90-degree angle. Our back leg is straight. Sink down into this nice deep stretch. Again, blocks are always handy. If you're starting out or if you're tall, they're great to have. Good, there's nothing wrong with using props to enhance your practice. Good. From here, let's release the back knee and the toe and then walk back to our half split. Bringing the body forward, hips are square. Try not to lean over on this pose, bring your chest forward. Good. And then come back up into your high lunge position. Then we're gonna come up into our crescent lunge. So get your balance, get your strength, bring your arms all the way up. Have that back leg straight, bending the front knee. And then we're gonna do a little twist. So we're opening up towards the left. Good. And then reach back up to center, lift up. Flow it out, dropping your hands all the way down to the mat once more. Pick up the left foot, go right into your high plank position, walk out your high plank. Good. And then lift up, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Good. And then dropping the knees, release the toes into your child's pose. Good. Coming on up, lifting up, taking the right foot this time, bringing it forward, and then sinking deep into your low lunge with your right foot forward. Placing both hands either on blocks, or if you can bring them just below your right knee, sinking down deep, lifting your chest up high, and breathe. Good. Lower your hands down, flip your toes, lift yourself up, drop that back heel, and then lifting yourself up into your warrior two. And then dropping the back hand, flipping the front palm, peaceful warrior. Keeping the front knee bent, and then cartwheeling the arms. Dropping your hands down, now you're in your runner's lunge. Use your blocks if you need to. Sometimes even just doing a rock forward and back can feel really nice. And then dropping the back knee, releasing the toe, and then walking your hands back for your half split. Bringing your belly forward, chest up. Keeping the hips square, feeling this intense hamstring stretch. Good, and then walking your hands forward, back into your runner's lunge, lifting up. And then we're gonna come up into our crescent lunge. So using your strength, your core, your balance. So much going on here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lift up. Hold. Good, and then lower your hands all the way down to the mat. Take the right foot, swing it back into your high plank position, and let's pedal out our feet here in our high plank, engaging the core a little bit more. And then hips go all the way up, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here, nice quick recovery. Nice, let's come down into our high plank position. Drop your knees and let's start warming up our body, our upper body. Lower yourself all the way down to your mat, chin down. Take a second here, lifting your knees, lifting your feet, and just do a little windshield wiper. This feels good for your hips. Nice. Point your toes out. Bring your arms to your side for some cobra, lifting up. And lower, lifting up into cobra, and lower. One more time, lift up, lower, and then push up to your full upward facing dog. Take a second here. So depending on how long your arms are, is going to bring your hips up a little bit higher. It also has to do with your flexibility. So everyone's gonna look different. Don't compare yourself to me, please, because we all look different. Reach up, chin up. And then lifting your hips high, rolling over onto your toes, come into your downward facing dog. Now that we're all warmed up, let's flow it out. Lift the heels, bend the knees, jump to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, bend the knees, rise to stand, reach up. Hands to heart center, take a second in mountain, roll your shoulders back and flow it out. Bend the knees, rise to stand, bring your hands to heart center, bring your hands down to the mat. Bend the knees, jump, hop or step, high plank, on your knees or toes, chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, to downward facing dog. Good. Take a little pause here. And then right leg goes up to the ceiling for three-legged dog. Then bending the right knee. Let's do some circular motions with the right knee, warming up the hip even more. And then lower down. Left leg goes up, three-legged dog. Bend the left knee, open up the hip, little circles with the left leg. Good. Lower down, roll right into your high plank position. Maybe separate your feet just a little bit over into your side plank. So now we're lifting up our left arm all the way up. Now you can bring your toes one in front of the other, or you can go ahead and stack them as well. Lifting up. Nice. Float that hand down, reverse. So you're stacking your toes, coming up into your side plank, lifting your hips high. Lower the right hand down, lift up into your downward facing dog. Good. Lift the heels, bend the knees, jump to the top, halfway lift, forward fold, bend the knees, rise to stand, reach up. Take a little pause here. Maybe close your eyes. Feel your feet grounded into the mat. Good. From here, we are going to pick up our left foot, step back, warrior one. Lifting, stepping back, maybe shimmying the right foot, bending the front knee, warrior one. Bending the front knee. We're going to float down just one time. Lower and rise. Open up warrior two. Good. Straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Good. And then reaching forward to our full triangle. Dropping the hand down, reaching the arm up. Now, always visualize that you're in a toaster and you don't want to get burnt on either side. So you want to make sure that your bottom's not sticking forward, that you're nice and straight. Doesn't matter how far you go. Good. Lift back up into your triangle and then bring your hands to your waist. Bring your toes pointed to the top of the mat or the front side of your mat and float down into your wide-legged forward fold. Let's take some breaths here. And let's sway from side to side. Let's deepen the stretch. Let's visualize our knees going nice and wide. You can even take your hands and put them on your knees. And then as you're moving from side to side, just really slight pressure on your knees, opening them up. Then let your head be heavy. Keep breathing. Good. And then place your fingertips onto the mat. Heel toe your feet just a little bit wider than your shoulders or hips. Yes, good. And then take your left hand, grab onto your right ankle for a twist. Bring the opposite arm all the way up to the ceiling, pulling your forehead towards your knee. Open up the chest. And then back to center. Reverse. Take your right hand to your left ankle and then swinging your left arm all the way up, pulling your body in towards your left knee. Good. And then bringing yourself down, bending the knees, rise to stand. Woo. Let's bring both feet at the top of the mat. Let a little bit of blood flow from our head all the way down to our toes. Let's get ready for a little quad stretch here. So we're going to take our left hand, we're going to extend it forward and try to grab the top of your right foot. And then when you're here, try to bring your knees parallel and then bring your hips forward. And then if you're there, you can try to bring your foot closer to your glutes. Good, and then slowly lower and reverse. Bringing the right hand forward, lifting the top of the left foot. Trying to get those knees to touch or just be beside each other. Pushing your hips forward, taking a deep breath in. Whoop. If you fall like I did, just get right back up. Beautiful, good. Bend the knees, rise to stand. We're gonna flow it out, dropping your hands down to the mat. Bend the knees, jump, hop, or step, high plank position. Knees or toes, chaturanga down. Upward dog or cobra to downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Good, getting ready for the other side. Let's lift the heels, bend the knees, jump, hop, or step to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Forward fold, rise to stand, reach up, and take a second in your mountain. Relax your shoulders. Getting ready to step your right leg back into your warrior one. Lifting the leg, stepping back, lifting your arms up, squeezing the belly, bending the front knee. Good, and then float out by dropping the hands, reaching your body forward just once. And then we rise, open up warrior two, bending the front knee, relaxing the shoulders, and then straightening the front leg into a reverse triangle, reaching back. Good, and then all the way forward as we extend our arm forward, then we drop our hand, reaching our arm all the way up. Again, we're in that toaster, we don't want to get burnt on any side. Then using our core strength, bringing ourselves up, bringing our hands to our hips, and then bringing our toes pointed for a wide-legged fold. Let's do a bind this time. We're grabbing onto our hands behind, lifting them up, and then open up the shoulders, straighten the elbows. Maybe do a little bend in the knee, drop your head. Good, and then lower your hands all the way down. We're gonna do some goddess squats. So I want you to just bring your feet a little bit closer together. Make sure that your toes are pointed to the corners of your mat, and then come on up. Come up into a prayer pose. And we are going to have, our knees pointed towards those corners as well. And we're just gonna do some squats. We're also going to just really gently push in towards our prayer, towards our hands. And as we rise, we're squeezing our glutes. Lower and rise. Lower and rise. Being mindful of our core, keeping our belly tight as well. Bend and rise. Bend and rise. Now we're going to turn towards our right leg. We're going to come right into a lunge position. So we have our back leg is bent and we're going to touch the ground and lift. Touch the ground, lift. Same thing, and lift. Back heel is lifted. 2 more. 1 and 2. Good. Then open up right into that deep squat. And squeeze. And squeeze. Bend and up. Bend and up. Let's reverse. So it's better and easier to bend, and then you can shimmy, twisting your body, keeping your hips square, and then dropping the back knee and straighten. And straighten. Still pushing just a little bit in towards our hands. And straighten. And straighten. Nice, good. Let's drop ourselves down. Gives ourselves a little sway, a deeper stretch here. Maybe heel toe your toes a little bit closer together. Grab onto your feet or your ankles. Pull yourself in towards your body. Good. Place your hands down onto the mat. Now we're going to pivot. So we're going to take both of our hands, we're going to bring them to the top of the mat towards our right foot. We're going to lift up our toes and we're going to come right into our pyramid. This is a good one if you need to be up a little bit more, you need blocks. So we have our toes pointed towards the top of the mat. It's a deep, really nice hamstring stretch. And then you just fall forward onto that right leg. Working our hamstrings here. Maybe your head can touch your knee. Good, and then walking your hands to the center once more, pivoting your feet to the front and then over to the other side. So you can lift both feet and you can almost just slide on your heels. Now you have your left foot forward. And just breathe. This pyramid pose, feeling this beautiful stretch, this hamstring stretch all the way up on your legs. Nice. Lift your back heel and then lifting that foot to meet the other one at the top of the mat for your forward fold. And then let's flow it out. Having your hands on the mat. Hop back into your high plank position, knees or toes, chaturanga. And then upward dog or cobra to downward facing dog. Walk it out. Lift your heels, bend your knees, hop to the top of the mat, halfway lift, forward fold, rise to stand, maybe a little back bend, float your hands all the way down to the mat, bend the knees, hop back into your high plank, knees or toes, chaturanga, upward dog or cobra to downward facing dog. Good. 2 breaths here. You can always go into child's pose if you need a break. Good. And then roll forward into your high plank position. You're going to go into a little bit of core. Go down into your elbows. And we're just going to do 10 hip dips. So we're dipping one hip to the other side, That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I think I said 10. Drop your belly all the way down. Go right into your Sphinx position, keeping your fingertips towards the top of the mat, lifting up. Keep your toes pointed. Your hips are firmly on the mat. Try to lift your belly up. Shoulders back, looking forward. And breathe. Hold. Nice. And then from here, we're going to lift ourselves up, but we're going to bend our knees. Keep your knees a little bit wider here. We're going to lift ourselves up by keeping our knees bent. And we're just doing this nice little stretch where we're letting our hips be heavy. You can be playful with this one. You can drop one knee or extend one leg in the other. Maybe bending your elbows. We're trying to get our head to touch our toes. All in good time. Good. And then sit back slowly. So start with your tabletop, dropping your feet down, and then we're very slowly, because we just did a lot of movement with our lower back, slowly come back into your wide-legged child's pose. Take a deep breath in and out. Drop your forehead to the mat. Good. Take both hands over towards the left side for a stretch. All the way back to center and over to the right. Come back up to center. Bring your knees together, sitting at the back of the mat. We're going to bring our arms out into cactus. Nice little shoulder stretch. Bring your chin up. Take a deep breath in. Squeezing the belly, reaching your arms all the way up. Grab on to your fingers together for a bind. And then move your hands in a nice flowing position. This feels really good on the wrists from all the wrist movements that we just did. Or if you're at a club and you don't know how to dance, you can just do this. Looks cool. I stole this move from somebody. I loved it. Good, feels really good. And it makes you smile. Good. Come back up into your tabletop position. Couple more cat-cows. Drop the belly, look up. Curve the spine, chin down. Good, and lower. We are going to start slowing down our practice. Kneel yourself over onto your bottom and bring your legs up for your boat pose. So another little core strength, taking your hands underneath your knees, lifting yourself up, bringing your chest forward. Good. If you have a block too, I find it really handy and a reminder to squeeze in to have a block between my knees. Good. Bring yourself forward. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab a block. I'm going to show you some variations. We're going to lower down one vertebra at a time. Lower, lower, lower. And then since we're lying down, give yourself a head to toe stretch. It's a beautiful recovery to prepare us for some deep stretches on the floor and some ways to strengthen our body as well. Good, go ahead, bring your knees into your chest. Give you a squeeze and a rock from side to side. Good. Let's go into our wind position or wind release pose. If you do have a block, you can try by putting that behind your lower back. This is a deeper stretch. It's really nice to try. Or you could put a pillow or a bolster. So we're bringing our left knee in towards our chest and then flexing both feet. So this is lifting the hips off of the mat, just ever so slightly, enough to give you that deeper sensation, that deeper stretch. You should feel it all the way down your right leg. Just start to close your eyes whenever you want to. Nice. And then extend the leg, maybe grab onto your knee, extending the left leg, and then bend it once more and switch sides. So now we're extending the left leg down to the mat, grab on to your right knee, flexing your feet, pulling it in towards your body. Take some deep breaths. Again, if you're just on the ground, if you don't have a mat, totally fine. You're still getting the benefits here. This is just a little bit more intense. You get yourself a block, some things that you can try. Good. And then lower down the feet. So have your feet find the mat. If you have that block, go ahead and grab it and bring it over to your side. Scoot your way down to the center of the mat. And now we're gonna, if you have a block, great. If not, don't worry. I like to squeeze my block as I lift up to a bridge position, rolling the shoulders back. So take this opportunity to squeeze the glutes. Lift, 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 squeeze the block or your knees together. Good, and then release your hips down. We're gonna do something a little bit more playful here, where we're gonna open up the hips in our bridge. So lift up into your bridge, and then we're going to take our hands and we're gonna put them right behind. So we're almost holding ourselves up. Just give it a try. So our shoulders are rolled back, and we're almost light on our feet here. So we're light on our toes. And then we can see if we can maybe bring our legs up. And then you can see that we're almost in our shoulder stand. So go ahead, if you want to try, bringing your hands to your waist just below. Point your toes. Good. And then you could try bending your knees. Maybe your knees are touching your forehead. Maybe try extending slightly. Bending. Do this nice and slow. Bending. You can try plow if you want to. Or you just try extending one foot and the other. Good, and then let's slowly come up. And then see if you could lower yourself all the way down. One vertebra at a time. Lower, lower, lower. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Nice. Right into waterfall. So bringing your feet flexed, hands flexed, point, release, point, release. Make this be playful. Give yourself a little squeeze. Reaching your toes to the sky. Grab onto the outside of your feet for happy baby. Bringing your knees, opening the hips a little bit more. Maybe a rock from side to side. Good. Bringing your knees together, and we're gonna rock our way up. So do a couple rocks here. So we're coming up and up. One more for good luck. Roll your way up. Beautiful, good. Let's extend both legs out for our seated forward fold. So we're getting into the stretching portion of this hour class where we're going into some deep stretch. So your body's all warmed up, you've done a little bit of strengthening. Let's take a couple of moments to really stretch. So we're opening up our hips, our legs, feet are flexed. And if you're just here and you want to sit up nice and tall, you can. Maybe putting your hands behind, pulling your chest forward. Just breathe, relaxing your shoulders down. And if you want to try coming forward a little bit, you can just really slowly and gently listening to your body, bringing yourself forward. We're going to hold this pose. Maybe even a sway from side to side. Being mindful, trying to bring your lower abdomen to the mat. Eventually you'll see that you can go further and further and further and further. Everything's a practice. Just for now, just listen to your body. Let the weight of your head and your upper body sink down. Good, and coming up, we're gonna go into a side stretch. So reaching up, reach up your left arm and reach over towards your right leg. You could either bring your arm to the inside of your leg or out. See where it feels good. Or you could reach towards that foot. Just try to open up your chest and smile. Don't forget to smile. Good, and then slowly come all the way up and then over towards the left side, reaching towards the left foot. Nice, beautiful, good. Lifting up your knees. This can feel really awkward sometimes, so maybe you may need to assist your legs to come together and then give them a good little shake at the top. We're gonna come into a forward fold, but with a bent knee. So go ahead and start by taking your left knee and bending it and bringing your left foot against your right leg, upper right leg. So our hips are square, lifting your arms up and then fall towards that, your right foot. Another deep hamstring stretch here. Again, it's when we hold these poses a little bit longer, we're telling our body to release, and that's okay. I actually found this really interesting study that said that if we're unconscious, that our bodies can like maneuver in all these unbelievably flexible poses. So I'm not willing to test that fact, but if it's true, it goes to show you that a lot of it has to do with our mind. So reaching your belly forward and then slowly come on up, dropping your hands, switch sides. So now we have the right leg forward, the left knee is bent, we have our left foot pressed against that leg again. Listen to your body, where does it feel good? And then dropping yourself down. You're always gonna find that you have one side that's a little bit more flexible than the other. It just goes to show you that you need to work on the side that's not so flexible. So take this time to come into your breath. Maybe dropping your forehead down. Feel your body get lower and lower as you exhale. Good, and then slowly making your way up. We're going to do another quad stretch here. So bring your knees in. The best way to do this is probably to go into a seated position. Come a little bit forward to the top of your mat and then sit down. And now you have your ankles and your feet to the outside. Now, if this is too much for you, just take a break. or go into your child's pose and work on that. If you want to stretch a little bit more, we're going to go down slowly onto our elbows. See how that feels. So we should feel a deep stretch here in our quads. And then if you can, you're going to make your way down a little bit further. Good. And if you can make your way all the way down, you could even see how it feels if you extend your arms over your head, or maybe your arms out into cactus, keeping the belly in tight. You shouldn't be lifted too much. This should be like a relaxing pose. I know, yeah, I just said that, so. Good. And now we're gonna, if you're not already on your elbows, you're gonna come back to your elbows. We're gonna come up into our seated position, and we're gonna go right into our pigeon pose. So if you want to get to it on your mat, you can. A lot of people, me included, I like to start with my plank. I like to go into a downward facing dog. So let's go into our downward dog. We're gonna lift up our right leg, three-legged dog, and then bend the right knee, bring the right knee to the right wrist, and then float down, extending the back leg. Once you have your pigeon pose or half pigeon, lift up, and then lower down, bringing your chin or forehead to the mat. Feeling this beautiful stretch on the right side of your hip. Just going to hold for another 30 seconds. Breathe through it. Make sure you're not sitting on your right hip. Make sure that you're in the center of your mat. Make sure that you don't have any pain in your knee. Good, and then slowly, slowly bring yourself up. Lifting up. And then lifting your back toe. Come into your plank position. Walk it out a bit. Good, and then slowly lifting your hips all the way up into your downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Sink deep. And then lifting your left leg all the way up, three-legged dog. Preparing for pigeon on the opposite side. So bending in the left knee, dropping down the left knee to your left wrist, floating yourself down. Everyone's going to have a different knee flexibility. So depending on where you want to go, listening to your body, listening to where your knee can go, and then floating yourself all the way down. Resting your forehead onto the mat. Understanding that this can be intense. Your body's going to say, this is uncomfortable, get me out of here. And you're going to breathe through it, and you're going to say, no, it's good. This isn't pain, this is a stretch. Take a deep breath. Extend. Fill your lungs with air. Good, and then lifting yourself up slowly. And then sitting down back onto the heel, bringing both feet to the top of the mat, giving yourself a little shake, reaching your arm up, come into your forward fold. Just grab on, create some movement here, bending one knee and the other, pulling your body in. Ooh, this feels really nice. We're gonna make our way down to the mat. So go into your forward fold first, stretching your arms. Good, and then scoot yourself forward and float your way all the way down. Nice. Giving yourself another head to toe stretch. Another squeeze. Bringing your knees in and a rock. Getting ready to close our practice. Nice. Let's go in for a twist. So bringing your arms out into cactus. And we're going to take our left leg, pointed to the ceiling, cross it over the right, and then dropping both knees over towards the right side. Slowly, slowly. So we're bending or twisting at the waist. And maybe look over towards your left hand. Relax your shoulders. Take some deep breaths in and out. Feel the sensation of your muscles. Do you feel stronger? Good. Keep breathing. Good. Lifting both knees up, lifting that leg, coming back. Might have to shift your hips, okay? You want your hips to be aligned and centered in the mat. Lifting your right foot up, pointing the toe, crossing over your left knee, and then letting both knees fall over towards the left side. This time, opening up the chest, either your arms straight out or in cactus. Want to try to keep your shoulders down, twisting at the waist. Look over towards your right. Just breathe. Close your eyes. Good. Bring your knees all the way up. Stretching yourself one more time. And we're going to roll ourselves to our belly. So rolling ourselves all the way over onto our belly. Now here we're going to extend our right arm out. We're going to bend our left arm out, right leg bent. We're going to roll over on towards opening up the shoulder on the left side. And then the right arm goes up to the sky. And the right toe goes to touch. So I'll show you that one more time. Left arm goes out. You start rolling towards opening up the shoulder. You're bending the back leg, opening up the hip, and then just have the toe to touch. And then you could bring your arm all the way up to the sky. Or you could even try to grab the leg. Again, listen to your body. Lift, lift, lift. Well, just relax your head down. Good, and then lower down, rolling back onto your belly, and then switch sides. So now the right arm goes out to the side straight. Bring the opposite arm in, bending the left knee, rolling, opening up the shoulder. So we're rolling towards the right side this time, lifting up, opening up the hip. Good, and then either taking your right arm to the sky, or behind you, or over, just wherever it feels good. Take a little nap. Squeeze the belly. Just breathe. And then slowly lower that hand. Come back onto your belly. One more lift up to your full upward facing dog. Good. Push up, downward facing dog. Comparing this downward dog to the first one that you did, perhaps. Enjoying this moment. We're going to take 2 deep breaths here. And then we're going to get ready to close our practice. This 1 hour head to toe full body stretch for flexibility and strength that if you do every day will amaze you, will amaze the endurance and the strength that you could have and the energy that you will have within your body. Good. Bringing yourself forward, floating yourself down onto your belly. Nice and slow. Reaching your arms forward, squeezing your body head to toe. Good. And then rolling onto your back. Good. One more self-love squeeze. Now this one is to thank you for showing up today on your mat. This one is to thank you for taking this hour, or maybe you had to split it up, but you got it done from beginning to end. Doesn't matter how long it took you to do. Give yourself that loving hug. Good. And then pointing your toes, giving yourself a stretch. A deep breath in, and then find your way down to Shavasana, where you take this time, this moment to relax. Give thanks and gratitude for this beautiful practice that is yoga. Taking a deep breath in and out. I just want you to take a couple minutes to yourself. Listen to your breath, relaxing every part of your body. Relax your shoulders, and your hands, and your elbows. Relax your chest, your abdomen, and your hips. Relaxing your legs, your knees, your shins, and your feet, and your toes. Let it all go. And just breathe. If you want to stay in your Shavasana, please do. If you're ready to close our practice, our hour is up. Roll yourself over and come up to a seated position. Crisscrossing your legs. We did it. We did the hour. We're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take this beautiful positive energy and share it with all those that you love. Thank you so much for joining me for this class. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to share my channel with everyone. Love and light, everyone. Blessings to you all. Namaste.